Every year, Samsung continues to blur the lines between its Galaxy S and Note devices, and that's more true than ever with the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. If you compare it with the S20 Ultra that launched earlier this year, you'll see nearly identical hardware and software, which just begs the question, which one is right for you? Let's touch on that hardware first. Both phones share very similar design aesthetics, though the Note 20 Ultra features a more squared-off design as opposed to the rounded corners of the S20 Ultra. With the Note, you also get a new matte finish that looks and feels great, and hides fingerprints really well, which is something I always found annoying about the glossy backing of the S20 Ultra. As far as the displays go, we're looking at two very similar AMOLED panels, both with a 120Hz refresh rate. Though where the S20 Ultra has a constant 120Hz, the Note 20 Ultra uses a dynamic refresh rate that drops down to 60Hz on less active screens, which should help save on battery life. Speaking of batteries, the Note 20 Ultra actually has a slightly smaller one at 4,500 mAh versus the S20 Ultra's 5,000, though the former's newer, more power-efficient Snapdragon 865 Plus processor combined with that dynamic refresh rate should help things along. Both phones run on nearly identical software, with Samsung's One UI based on Android 10, though the Note 20 Ultra has the slightly newer One UI version 2.5. Of course, it also features the S Pen, now with even lower latency than on previous generations, and a few handy tricks like system navigation gestures. You likely already know how important the S Pen is or isn't to you, but it's obviously one of the Note's most defining characteristics. With both phones taking on the Ultra moniker, you may not be surprised to hear how similar the camera layouts are as well. In fact, the Note 20 Ultra features the exact same 108 megapixel primary sensor as the S20 Ultra, but with all of the latter's problems surrounding focusing on close subjects, Samsung added laser autofocus to the Note that, at least in our early testing, seems to be a big help. The ultra-wide lens is also the same on both phones, but the telephotos are a bit different. You get 5x optical zoom on the Note 20 Ultra as opposed to 4x on the S20, and while the resolution is lower at 12 megapixels versus 48, you also get a wider aperture and larger individual pixels, which should help a lot in that nearer 5 to 10x range. You are limited to 50x on the Note 20 Ultra, where the S20 Ultra could reach all the way up to 100x, but we found the upper limits on the S20 to be largely impractical anyway. As always, one of the biggest deciding factors between the S and the Note is how much you think you'll really be using the S Pen. But it's also worth mentioning that the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra is actually $100 cheaper than the S20 Ultra before discounts. Even if you don't plan on using the S Pen at all, that lower price tag is already reason enough for most people to choose the Note over the S20, but if you already have an S20 Ultra, there's certainly no need to feel left out. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to look out for our full review of the Note 20 Ultra in the coming weeks. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.